this first.
Okay. We're live.
She got that in, right?
We're just going to start with the laughter right off the bat. Tom's going to choke on his water. It's going to be a fiasco tonight. Anyways, so I'm just going to get straight into it. My name's Brittany Bateman. I go by Brittany Brainstorm, and I'm the creative director of Brainstorm Boutique. We help small businesses with big dreams through branding and web design. Tonight, my sister Casey's joining me. She is a very talented designer and a confidence coach. And we have an interview with Casey several segments back you should watch about what she does with that. But tonight's not about us. We have our good friend Tom Harness with us tonight of Harness Digital Marketing. And Tom, if you know Tom, you know that he is famous for his amazing suits and for his love for veterans and our community. So Tom, I'm gonna let you go and introduce yourself, okay?
Well, I'm Tom Harness, also known as Tom Harness. I don't have a cool last name like Brittany Brainstorm, but yes, and that was a pretty good introduction. I mean, I don't know what else. I'm originally from South Dakota. I'm an Army veteran from 92 to 96. I was a satellite communications operator. Got out of the military, ended up going to John A. Logan here in Southern Illinois, transferred over to SIU, got a degree in elementary education. I taught for 9 years. I taught 5th grade in Heron for 6. I taught kindergarten through 8th grade technology classes at Unity Point for 3 years. And then I taught 3 semesters at SIU before moving over to Walker's Bluff to be their chief information officer. And all that background and experience helped kind of guide me into stepping out into my own and starting my own business. So it's one of those, I've got 2 degrees that I don't really use anything in, but as you pointed out, my passion has been to utilize my brand and my business to help with some nonprofits and other causes, but mostly for veteran related events and organizations.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know you were from South Dakota.
Yeah, I was born in Spearfish, graduated high school in Rapid City, South Dakota. I'm a Stevens Raider. Go Raiders!
I went to Rapid City like not too long ago. It was probably one of my favorite parts of my trip. Was
there
Rapid
you go.
City. We really liked it. The people there.
Yeah, that whole area is really cool.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
That is awesome. Well, Casey, before we get too far into our conversation with Tom, I remember you telling me there's a little story you wanted to share about Tom.
Yes. So Tom doesn't know this because I haven't had a chance to tell it to you yet, but you extremely impacted one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I will tell you here. I thought about messaging it to you beforehand, but then I was like, you know what? We'll just do it on the air. If I cry, I cry.
Oh.
So when I met you, I was working like an extremely ridiculous job. I'm not going to say who I was working for because it's not a flattering look for them. You had this seminar at the very, very top of the job where you were talking about entrepreneurship. You are an incredible speaker. One of the things that you did is that you kept hammering the importance of paying employees. And that was a brand new concept for me coming from Franklin County, all this other stuff to really like look at as an employee that like I should be getting paid, which is really silly, but it's very true. You should be getting paid. So I invested all this time, all this energy into this little train that's trying to chug. That job was just like, like insane toxic. And that was also before people were talking about like toxicity in a word that you use outside of a marriage or your parents. So you didn't really talk about like toxicity in the workplace, but it was nuts. Like these people were cocoa bananas. And I let them push me really, really far because I kept thinking, I'm not a quitter. I'm going to keep working this job. I'm not a quitter. But the moment that my paycheck didn't post the first time, I thought I should be getting paid. Like I immediately thought about you and thought about that, you know, because I'm a dork. I write notes during everything. And I had written that down in my notebook for my work. And I remember flipping to it and being like, Tom says should be getting paid. Like this is the moment. And I wound up getting my paycheck. Everybody who worked there got their paycheck a week late, right? Okay, so a little sus, as the kids say. So then the next month, because we only got paid once a month, so you don't really get to see a pattern quickly. The next month, the payment doesn't post again. And I was like, this is it, I'm out. And I wrote an email, and I was able to use, because, you know, back before you had all these like validating Instagram accounts, you had to have something very, very professional, concrete reason. Me not getting paid on time is a very good reason to say, right? So I was able to just type with this, Tom says I should get paid. And then, so I stayed friends with some people in there because, you know, it wasn't all bad, but it was just accessible for me. And one of the girls who worked there said that paycheck that, you know, I like steamrolled in, forced them getting paid. Then they worked 3 months without a paycheck.
Oh.
The guy disappears. They can't get a hold of him. Then they go 8 months without a paycheck.
Okay, well, right there, after I don't know how long you have to work. That's some dedicated employees to keep working with no pay.
They were not at your seminar, and which is funny because it was just me who went at that point because everybody else was doing other stuff. I can't remember. It was like just me and the boss. And I remember just like when I allowed myself to appreciate my own value in like getting paid, even though like I don't regard myself as like a business owner, an entrepreneur, or anything like that, because I like to just do my job and that's my job. So I don't even know why I was there, to be honest.
I would say it's divine intervention. I'm a very faithful man. I would tell you it was a God moment.
Yes, and
Amen.
so it's funny because I've been doing like work on like coincidences and not seeing them as a coincidence and reframing them as like when you're hiking those little stacks of rocks, like you should lean into something that is, you know, being repeated. So anyway, then that decision wound up snowballing into another really great decision, and then the next decision snowballed into another good decision. But it all started whenever I was like, Tom says I should get paid, and sent that email off. My entire life changed from that moment.
You know, that one, that's just amazing. And I've watched you and I've seen you grow, and I had no idea about that. I think it's important, and we talked a little bit before about how I'm always looking for other women to be good role models for my daughter. And everybody has value, like, and everybody needs to see that value and believe, like you said, in themselves. And a lot of times it doesn't always come from a seminar or a person telling that you should get paid. Sometimes it comes from those situations where you're put in those and you have to find out for yourself. But I could have told you a long time ago you had value, just like Brittany. But no, the work that I've seen you do directly and indirectly with some of the people in my community that are with me, you have impacted lives. And I think that's the beauty of all this, is that every day we go out into the world and we do small actions, a smile, a gesture, a statement of getting paid. And we just don't know where that leads. And the whole point is, it isn't about us. It's about that other person going out there. And one, I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of you both, but I'm very proud of you. And I'm glad that you see value and that you continue to see value in yourself. So.
Yeah. And, you know, it's one of those things, whenever I think back to that seminar specifically, you said like probably 100 times that you should pay your employees. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, but you said it over and over and over again, to the point that I even wrote down in my notes, like, Tom said this like 1,000 times. I don't know why this is important, but it has to be, because I see moments like that as like foreshadowing events. And it totally did. We love that I take notes, and I really appreciate taking the time to drill that while I was in the room. whether you realized it or not.
You're welcome. I vaguely remember that, but I will tell you what was going on. There was a period of time, and I think it's gotten better. Interns and people were wanting to use interns for everything, and it was you were getting experience.
Yes.
And I had a completely different outtake on that because I felt like they were getting taken advantage of. And I'm like, and we still do internships, but maybe I'll do a stipend, or I'll try to give them something where you're not taking advantage of. I think there's room for internships and certain things, but there comes that line where you cross over and it's like, you're more than just an intern. Like you're like basically bringing income into the business, right?
Yeah.
Interns don't typically bring a lot of revenue, but when you have people coming in and bringing revenue, you pay them, right?
Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly. So, there's a lot of like marketing interns, but they're actually marketing. Like they're literally doing marketing. They're not just like sitting next to somebody and like crunching a couple numbers or anything. They're like literally filling that role in a company who has no marketing team.
That's awesome. That's a great way to end my day, is knowing that I had an impact on you.
100%.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
100%. I will confidently say that if I did not have that seminar at that time, and I had wasted another year of my life just thinking, like, oh, chug through it like everybody else was. Which, like, they're good people. Like, they are good people at heart. Which is so crazy to think how taken advantage they were for, and just it's all just gone. Like it's gone. If that hadn't happened, like I 100% wouldn't have been able to go to Second City when I went to Second City. Then I would have got stuck in COVID traffic. You know what I mean? All these things, all these funnels that I went through was perfect timing because I knew when enough was, and that's what your speech seminar did for me.
Well, good. Well, we'll just finish right there. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I changed lives.
Wonderful.
I helped send a person to Second City. There you go. I'm going to put that on my resume.
Gosh.
Second City. Boom.
There you go.
Well,
you can do it.
Speaking of saving lives, we're just going to segue to the main topic of this, which clearly, Tom, you do have a big impact on a lot of people. And I know that we discussed how important veterans are to you and helping them with their businesses. So clearly you have, a military background, but I would love to hear more about your passion for helping veterans transition into their own business.
Yeah, I want to start out by saying that this is a very emotional topic for me. We have Veterans Day coming up next week, November 11th. And my family, I grew up in a military family. My dad was Navy. My uncles were Navy. We had some Army as well. And I don't know how to express this. And I wish that I could share what I feel and I could transfer that to every American, because when I see a veteran and I see the diversity, men, women, yellow, red, black and white, everybody that served, past, present, and future, I get goosebumps because I've been to other countries, I've been to other places, and I know how great we have it. And I literally, in my bones, I'm so appreciative of everything that I get to do every day that's free in this country. Drive, read, disagree with the government, like all these things that we complain about, we get because of our freedoms, and those freedoms were, for me, paid by thousands of people from the very dawn of the United States' birth to today and continuing on, and we'll have more. So I say that because it's so important to me for people to try to slow down and just understand everything that we have to own a house, for a veteran to own a business, for women to own a business, for women to drive in the front seat of a car, to woman doesn't. I've had these experiences in Saudi and in South Korea and just different places, and you learn how amazing of opportunities that we do have here in America, and it just gets me goosebumps. It makes me very emotional, and I hope people would take the time, Veterans Day, just to understand that we disagree, we fight. We don't like some of the things that we do. We do like some, but those are options and choices that we get, and a lot of countries don't have that option. So it truly is the greatest nation. So, anyways,
Absolutely, I agree.
that's my heartwarming felt request for Veterans Day. But
I love that.
one of the things, I never thought I would be a business owner. I wanted to be in the military for my whole life. That was what I grew up and wanted to be. And it just God didn't have it in the cards for me. And I went on to do those other areas, education, teaching, and then learning about business at Walker's Bluff, being the chief information officer. And I think, I don't know how it happened, but literally I remember deleting my social media accounts, and probably about a month later, I was doing some work with Evan over at Megabytes, and he's like, "Hey, all these people are talking about social media and training. Is that something you could do?" Because I have an education background. I'm like, I just deleted my account. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I'm like, I actually think this social media could be a thing. And of course, Harness Digital Marketing's been in business for 11 years, and that was one of our primary focuses. So I went
Congratulations,
over to SBDC.
by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing.
I went over to the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, and wrote a business plan and came up with it. I was so proud of myself. Very meticulous. Here it is, outline, marketing strat, all that stuff. I got 3 months in to my business model, and I realized we were spending more time on creating content and putting stuff out, and we were losing money based on hours. So I was so proud of that business model, but I was glad I had it, because I realized we needed to adjust. So I had to pivot and adjust pricing, and I had to show value differently, and it was great. It was amazing for the first 3 years, and then social media really kicked off, and then there was a lot of and you guys know this, cookie cutter stuff, and it was like for $99, but everybody was getting the same it wasn't people forget about social media being social. So we were custom, and I had to decide, am I all in, or am I going to just give up? And I decided to reinvest back in, and thank God I did. And we went on, and we were able to last through that and pivot. And the beauty about being in digital marketing and in the field that we're all in is that it is constantly changing every 6 months, if not every 3 months, but I'll be a little optimistic and say at least there's new features every 6 months.
Yeah.
So I never thought that I would do this. And it wasn't until I joined an organization called Team Red, White, and Blue. It's a national organization with a local chapter. And the whole purpose was to get veterans to get active physically and socially in their community and connect them with other people. I, like many veterans, being a Desert Storm veteran or before, or after, we didn't feel like we should be stepping up and we should be saying it. I just didn't embrace being a veteran. A veteran was the old man in the wheelchair with the veteran hat, and that was a veteran. And I got into this organization, and I realized I had a much bigger purpose, and I had a much bigger responsibility as a veteran to continue to serve. And that organization helped me realize that. And that's when I really kind of changed my business model to really embrace the fact, not capitalize. There's a fine line, and I know you guys understand this. There's a fine line from taking something as a novelty and capitalizing on it and embracing it. And I wanted to embrace it. And I think, I hope that's the message that I've always sent, is that I embrace being a veteran. I'm not trying to capitalize on it. And once I did that, I really changed my business model to what we've kind of talked about, which is I use my platform to build my business, to bring awareness to other things. And that's what's great about marketing. When you're in that, you can do that. A horrible example, and I'm sorry, I hate to bring this up on your show, but a horrible example of that is, when you had a previous president who had a platform for TV and media, he had all that stuff to basically do whatever he wanted with. And I won't capitalize on that, but I'm saying, when you build a platform like that, you have a responsibility to do something with it, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. And I always wanted to build this platform where I could do it for good. Thus entered the crazy Christmas suits. So I was laying in bed because I used to only sleep 3 to 4 hours a night. It's the only
my
hours
gosh.
for years,
Oh my goodness.
3 to 4 hours, at least 10 to 11 years. Yeah, most of the time I've had my business. So I'm laying there and I'm going through Facebook way back in the day, striving through, and I got an ad for these crazy suits. And I am such a kid at heart. I started thinking it was close to Christmas time, and I was like, I wish Christmas could be. And this is like at 3:00 in the morning. I'm having this conversation with myself. I wish Christmas could be like it was when I was a kid. Forget the shopping, forget all the parties you have to go to and the chamber dinners and all that. Why can't we just go back and just have fun? So I saw this suit and I was like, I'm gonna buy this suit and I'm gonna spread Christmas cheer at 3:00 in the morning. So I buy the suit and it comes in and I start, and I wore it. And I gotta be honest, the Tom that a lot of people know today was because of that suit, because it helped me embrace myself and get outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And Brittany, I talk about that a lot, getting outside your comfort zone. So I did, and it was I was shaking when the first couple times I wore it. Oh yeah. So I wore it out in public and it just got a great response. People were smiling and they started saying Merry Christmas, which I'm all about saying, Merry Christmas. Yeah. And I loved it. And they're like, hey, can I get a photo? And I was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, no problem. And then someone had asked, I wish I could remember who it was. Someone had asked, are you doing this? Are you raising money or something? Do I pay you for a photo? And I was like, no, I'm just a guy in a Christmas suit. And they said, you should, raise money or something. And I was like,
oh. Wow.
So that first year, I raised $800. I think it was $800. And I used $400 for the Carterville's Gumdrops, who provides food for the summertime program for kids that don't go to school and get food through there. And then back in the day, Williamson County Pavilion had a bike giveaway. So I bought $400 worth of bikes and I took them out there. And we did that the first year. And then someone said, hey, so what are you doing next year? And I had not even gotten that far. So that's how it started. And then the next year, I raised money for Team RWB. The following year after that, I did Children's Home and Aid. It's for providing resources for families that need, after they adopt, some of the families need resources for help. And then the very last one I did, I think the fifth one, was Honor Wreaths for Veterans. And each year we kept upping the game and kept raising. So I think total, when I added it all up over the 5 years, I think we raised around $50,000 for the nonprofit.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was fun. A couple of years I got to do it with my buddy Kevin Huntsberger, but the goal was to wear the Christmas suit every day and annoy people until we raised the money. So the Christmas suits were they're $99. I could throw them in the wash and it was super easy, hang them up. I had a system down. But it was fun. And then I think like anything in marketing, sometimes it just wears itself out. So the fifth year was the last year. Plus, I would do that suit for 28 to 30 days. I only took it off on Sundays. Oh yeah, I only didn't wear it on Sundays for church because I didn't wear it to church. And then everyone's like, "Why are you not wearing it?" I was like, "Because it's church. I'm not wearing my suit to church." Okay. I don't think the sweet Lord. The 9-pound sweet Lord baby Jesus wants me to wear my Christmas suit to church. So I didn't. But yeah, it was fun. But what happened was with that suit, it got me outside my comfort zone. I owned my business and it allowed me to open up and it helped create a platform for me from which I had to do something with. It's hard because when you build a brand, you will be known. And when you're known, you're going to have people that support you, people that don't. That's just normal. Only God and you know your intent, and that's what's in your heart. And I was okay with the naysayers if I was bringing awareness to veteran issues or veteran organizations or an organization. I was okay with that if I had to deal with the, you're making it about you or your suits or whatever. And I evolved. I've been very lucky from a branding standpoint, because I could have been totally stuck in that brand of that, but I'm known for my bowler hat, my craft beer. You know, I've been able to pivot on some things and connect, but mostly what I want to be known for is just serving veterans. At the end of the day, I don't want to be known for anything other than serving veterans wherever I can. So I hope that kind of answers that question a little bit. I know that we talked about that, but yeah, I love it. It was fun.
I love that. Well, we have a few comments I'm going to go ahead and bring up here real quick. Luke
okay.
O'Neill with Union Street Art says he's watching. Thanks, Luke, for tuning in. We appreciate you and your support. Russell Williams says, nice stash, because I know you're in the middle of a campaign right now for that as well.
Yeah. So I usually this time of year, I grow my beard out because I have no hair. You can't see it. I have no hair, so I lose a lot of heat through my head in the winter. So I grow a beard to stay warm. But there's this campaign called Movember, and it's where you just bring awareness to men's health issues, prostate, cancer, mental health, mental illness for men. And I wanted to do that. So I'm doing this month where I'm only growing up. I've never just grown a mustache.
Nice.
And I got to be honest, this will probably be the first and last time because I don't think I'm going to like it. I think I'm going to look very weird. But again, outside my comfort zone, and nothing good happens with that. But just want to bring awareness to men's health. You know, men, we don't take care of ourselves.
I was about to say, love you guys, but I feel like women are more up to date on all their things. And so I do love that there's a month focused on reminding guys what they need to do to stay healthy, because we need you all to be around a long time, you know? Go ahead, Casey.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I feel like being sick, mind, body, or soul is fragility for you guys. And it's kind of like, you know, like cats, when they like break their leg, you'll never know it because they'll just like act like they're totally fine. And they're just like, am I drinking maple syrup? No, but I'm drinking out of the maple leaf mug.
Well,
my current came outside, but I feel like you guys kind of do that. You're just like very like, oh, what? Everything's fine, because it's like if you're not like predator, you're prey, kind of like feeling with your, which I know I don't want to use the word predator. Sorry, but you know what I mean.
No, well, hey, I will tell you, a cold is like, you know, bubonic plague for some of us men. It's like we're out, and you know, women and moms, they're like, you know, going to work and working 40 hours, and they have bubonic plague, and they're still working, you know, and they're still doing everything. And a guy gets a cold, and we're like, we're out, we're done. We're like, oh,
well, you know what? So, you got to take care of yourself, though. So if you guys are out with a cold, I want to remind women that if you're sick, please stay home and take care of yourself if you're contagious, you know. But like speaking about, you know, taking care of yourself and like mental health and all these things, like I know especially in the veteran community, PTSD is really big thing, and I'm glad it's getting so much more awareness now. How are you able to help veterans just transition to like a civilian life? Because I'm sure you deal with that a lot, where you know they had this job or this duty when they're in the military, and then they get out of the military, and it's like, now what do I do?
Yeah, you know, even though I was at the tail end of Desert Storm, so I was in a combat zone, but I wasn't in combat with satellite communications. I think we need to remember that veterans are not just ones, and I mean this with the utmost respect. They're not older veterans. They're not veterans that are missing limbs. They're all veterans. A lot of veterans are the ones that you can't see. Kind of to your point, Cassie, is that you can't see it. They hide it very well, but they need help. And I found, and this is where my brother and sister veterans have to step up, we really don't trust anybody other than other veterans to really reach out to. So that goes back to that responsibility of, if you've served, you know, letting people know that you served in a very honorable or, respectful way. So if they see a hat or they see a pin or a shirt, they know that they can reach out to you. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is that being kind of in a public figure is that people will direct message me or they'll reach out uh, and sometimes it gets to me because it's so overwhelming, the number of veterans that we have that are struggling, and they don't look like you think they look. These are not always people that are homeless or they look a certain way. They could look exactly like me. They could look exactly like you. And they're struggling. So I think one is being aware of signs. One of the things that veterans that suffer with PTSD, it's just how they interact, where they want to be positioned. You'll notice a lot of times, even myself, we don't like to have our backs to a door. There's just certain things that you need to be aware of. I'm like, oh, that might be a veteran, and just cues. And sometimes just, you don't even have to say thanks for serving. Just, hey, how are you today? For some people, that's a little overwhelming of saying that. But I guess the biggest advice I would tell non-veteran people is just do something. Even if someone says they're offended, it's okay. It's better to say something, to do something, teach your kids to show respect. Just if you see a veteran, just say, hey, how are you doing today? Or I like your smile, or can I buy you a cup of coffee? Just something simple like that is really good. But the awareness, I'm with you. I think it's getting there, but we're still averaging 22 to 23 veteran suicides a day.
Wow.
And that's a number way too high. And that happens here in Southern Illinois. So having those hard discussions and just being an advocate and being available is good. And knowing your resources. If you come across someone, contacting the VA, contact me. If I can't help, the Veteran Suicide Hotline is amazing. I've actually used that to help and report, and they've got resources too. But just do something. And if you're not comfortable, reach out and find someone that can. So yeah.
So
Wow.
what kind of advice would you give if you're let's say you look like me, you're the daughter of a veteran, or you are the sister of a veteran, or dating a veteran, and you feel like something's creeping in, like something's coming on, but you don't want to be offensive, you don't want to assume anything, and you don't want to expose that fragility. What do you think would be this is what I would suggest?
Okay, well, first thing I would say is, and this is for everybody, male or female, but I'm going to put my dad hat on. If you're dating or you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's male or female, but your safety comes first. You need to feel safe in your home. Have hard conversations. If you think that your spouse, your boyfriend, your loved one needs help, talk to them about it. And if they can't or they won't, talk to the VA. There's you can talk and say, this is what I've got. But it's just, remember, it's very serious. Please make sure that you're safe and that the person is safe, and it's not your responsibility to save them. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just telling you some good information here. But your safety comes first. That's you, and if you have kids, and help someone. And people have to want to be helped. And there's only so much that you can do before you need to put your own boundaries in place and get help and make yourself. So I think certain types of personalities want to save people, and that's what they are. I think helping is different than saving, and some people need a little bit more than what you and I can help them with. Right. And so I would say have a conversation. There are lots of resources, and they need to know that. And if you're getting involved with someone that has that, I would say counseling for both. I go to counseling. I'm not afraid to say that. When I've gone through some very challenging personal things in my life, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't go down a path that I didn't, when you deal with people like this, you know what to avoid. So don't go do the same thing. So you'd mentioned kind of mind, body, and soul. I put in really good habits for me going through life-changing events. I get up every morning. Well, Monday through Thursday I do, and I get up at 4:30. I go to the gym 4 days a week. First thing in the morning, I do my devotion. I get my Bible app out. I do that. And I make sure one of my rules in my apartment where I live, I don't drink alone. And I've done that for over 2 years. I love craft beer. But I don't do it at home by myself.
Or don't do it.
Yeah.
There's no
So
friends. Don't.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yep.
So when you go through challenging things, there's bad habits that can develop, and I didn't want that. So, but yeah, I think getting help, there's lots of resources, having boundaries, and knowing that the individual person, can help them get help, but they have to want it, and you can't save them. And make sure that you're in a relationship that is healthy and safe. And I've known relationships on both ends that have endured a lot. And I know a lot that PTSD has destroyed relationships with people. So it's definitely a mental illness that is causing a lot of problems.
Wow. Do you feel like your experience of working with veterans and helping them transition from, the military life to civilian life to even business owner, do you see that helping mental health? Do you see that giving them more control and freedom over their lives, to where it's a positive thing where you try to help people go in that direction more? Or what does that look like?
I just, I want to lead by example. I want them to know that if I can have a business for 11 years in a field that I didn't go to school for, then they can start their business. And there's so many funds and grants and resources available for business owners. But the biggest thing that veterans forget is how they can adapt and overcome. They think that it was a military, so it's gung-ho, but that persistence, that adaptability are some of the key things that you have to have in a business. You don't necessarily have to have an MBA. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be, helpful and wise, but the core of being persistent, adaptable, being able to do those things is amazing, because I think that's what really drives a business to be successful. There's so many things to it, but at the core, if you're not willing to give up and you're going to find solutions over every turn and corner, you will be successful. I mean,
that is true.
So I think that's.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay, I was going to say, I think that I've been doing what I've been doing for a very long time, but to have it formally packaged as a business is different, right? When you're just freelancing, doing things here and there, versus like, okay, this is who I am and what I do. And it's a lot of creative thinking and a lot of strategic planning. And I can definitely see where someone with a military background is going to be so successful having their own business. I know our conversation with Allison Hassler that we had several months back, and I know you guys met in that group, right? The red, white, and blue seat group. I know that was one of the things, like overcoming obstacles, all the things that she had experienced in the military, and just, her professional life and then her business life. What she had learned in the military really, really helped her overcome a lot of other things. So I have a lot of admiration and respect for veterans who come back and try something new and different for themselves.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing too. And I wish that we had more veteran-owned businesses. And that's one of the things, one of the other projects that I started with Withers Broadcasting was that Stars and Stripes SI Facebook group. And it's to help promote veteran businesses, organizations. We highlight when our local, I say kids, our young adults join the military or they come home. We use that platform to celebrate and encourage other businesses to get out there. So you just find ways that you're passionate about. Then it doesn't feel like work. I've tried to streamline as much as I can and refocus. And the other thing that we didn't talk about this, but I'll plug. I'm on city council in Carterville, and I would love to see more veterans run for office too. I think I think there's a lot of good opportunities and good choices for veterans to step up and lead in their communities too. So I'd like to see veterans kind of do that too. And as long as they don't run against me and I lose to a Marine. I can lose to anything, but I don't want to lose to a Marine. Just kidding. I'm kidding for that. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great point, because you do, when we talk about the community, we didn't mention about your involvement in your local community, on the city council, because the city council has a lot of impact about the businesses, in your community. Do you feel like that has given you an opportunity to do a lot of positive things? Would you recommend like other business owners to be on city council, whether they're veterans or not? Like what's your experience like that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, at the end of the day, we all fought, those of us that are veterans, so that we could have these rights. And one of those rights is the right to vote. What I love is I wish people would put more emphasis on local instead of national. I'm not saying, I'm not asking for you to not vote national, but it's hard when you don't have options. I think when you go to the polls and you can have options of people to represent you, that's great, right? And I think that if you have, if you go and there's one person on there that you can vote for every time, I think that conditions us to be like, why vote for one person? There's only one person. So I think the encouragement would be for business owners, men, women, Hispanic, Black, white, Indian. A lot of communities are diverse. Carterville's not as diverse, but we have a variety of people in our community. And I will tell you, I would love to be able to go to a regional, local city council and actually feel like the community that it is in is represented, right? I actually am proud. We have two females on our city council. One has been there for quite a while. One was appointed and new. Both are amazing. They bring a different perspective to it. But we still don't have a lot of diversity as far as experience, younger. I'm like probably I'm the youngest one on there, and I'm 48. So it'd be great to have someone younger.
Yes.
Hey, for city council, maybe, but we do have African American, Black people in our community. I would love to see that diversity on there. We have Hispanic. It'd be nice to see that. But I think a lot of people group national and state politics with local. Listen, I'm a crazy suit guy wearing veteran. I say what I say, and I got on. So I'm just saying, it's possible that anybody can get on city council as long as their heart's in the right spot and they work hard. So I just think seeing more diversity would be awesome. And yes, they need to get involved. So I'm looking forward to both of you. I'm looking at both of you running.
Well, I don't know if it needs to be me, but I was actually about to complain about young people who don't want to run, which is...
It's a big responsibility. It really is. It's a time commitment too.
It's a time commitment, but at the same time, it's like you have to be willing. Like, if the people who make changes that you disagree with are the only ones that are willing to put the time in and the muscle in to make the life that they see as like closer to like their utopian, community, then like you literally just can't complain. Like, this is you're literally not doing anything to champion. If you're not doing anything to champion the candidates that you really believe in, if you're not doing anything to try to figure it out yourself, like how I can put myself out there and start creating my community, I feel like they see it as like federal working in, but really it is city working out. It starts at 8 today.
Oh my gosh. That is, I really love this conversation, Tom. I feel like we've covered a lot of really important things. And
I feel bad. I feel like we've been all over the place.
No, look, this is how it goes. This is exactly how it goes, and I love it because I think so many young people don't feel worthy and valuable yet to have a place in local and I don't want to say politics, but like local decisions, right? Like having a seat at the table, having a voice at the table, feeling like it's not going to be welcomed yet because they're not experienced in whatever way we're, disillusioned
You
that
just
experience
described
is.
me and my first time. So I had no expectation of winning the very first time. I thought I was going to have to run a couple of times because I was going against an incumbent that had been there for a while. My first, after I got sworn in, I'm up on, and I'd been attending meetings. I was going to committee meetings about a year before, and I was going to
Wow.
city council meetings before, taking notes and getting involved. When I got up there and I was sitting at my nice chair and everything, and we started to go through everything, I was shaking.
Yeah.
So I had asked permission to get sworn in my hat inside City Hall, because this was my step-up dad's hat. He was Army, he passed away, and he was just a huge role model to me. And I wear this hat, and it helps me remind my manners, because I feel like my dad's always watching, my stepdad's always watching me.
Yeah.
So and I like to have him with me at all times, so he can experience some of the stuff that he didn't get to see. So I asked to be sworn in, and so I wear my hat, and sometimes I forget or something, and I'll take it off, but I have it up there. But I remember that first time when you talk about being worthy, I was shaking. And most people think that I'm so confident, and I still get nervous.
Really?
And yeah. And we went into voting. I remember this, and I think they expected me to sit there for a while, for a couple of months or something. No, I jumped right in. I remember making a motion. I voted, and I started talking. But the whole time, I was like this. And when I got done, and I went home, and I went home with one of my other friends, and we had a beer, and I was like, I cannot believe I did it. I just jumped right in. But to your point, Brittany, I think if they don't think they're worthy, that alone tells me they're probably right to do it. If you don't think that you're worthy, I think you've humbled yourself enough to know that you can, to be on there. And just remember, we serve people, the people that voted us. We aren't there for our individual selves. I've had to vote ways that I felt was in the best interest of the people in my ward or Carterville that I didn't necessarily agree with personally or philosophically. And that's what you do. It's not what I want. I want us to go back to, we are servants of the people that vote for us. And we need to remember that. And I think a lot of people need to remember that when they're voted for, so.
Absolutely. I think it's too easy, like how you were just even going back to like starting it and talking about like how we get to disagree. And I feel like there are some people that I just want to take by the shoulders and shake, because there are 7 billion people on this planet, and not a single one of us asked to be born. We were dropped down here where we were dropped. That's just it. The stork just dropped us off here, and
the stork, yes.
Wait, what? That's not where my mom and daddy said I came from.
Don't ruin me that, Tom.
My mom and daddy didn't say I came from a stork.
So it's one of those things. It's like if you were born and raised in, I will say, generously, just like North America in general, especially the States or Canada, as I'm experiencing right now. Like, what do you really have to complain about right now? Like, what on earth could possibly be so awful that you want to leave? Like, it blows my mind how many people will just sit around and be like, pick apart the simplest, like, I don't even think a tweet or just something, and just be like, oh, this country's whatever. And it's like, you little dork. You all were raised in one of the best, like easily one of, I think, the best countries in the world. Oh. Everyone's trying to get here. Everyone's trying to learn from our educators. Everyone's trying to go to our doctors. Everyone's trying to get here. Yep. And you're gonna sit there and and just dismiss the whole thing over like an article you read on like Hillary Clinton.eagle. I don't.
It's so hard. It's so hard, Cassie, because I don't know if we can even trust any. So I want to go back to I'm going to go back to just my set of Encyclopedia Britannicas that my mom got at the grocery store. Every time she got so much money in groceries, we were able to buy one edition of the next edition. And even though it's probably dated 1983, I'm going to go back to those because I'm going to feel like the people that made the encyclopedias were probably not as biased as what we read today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is like, if nothing is ever going to be perfect, but that is what we should always be striving for, is to make it as great as a place as possible for ourselves, for our neighbors, for our friends, for the people who are great and the people who are less than. Like, if we all just truly work, I mean, it's, that's the idealistic, right? But with all that being said, which I think are all absolutely very important pieces to this puzzle, because when you are out there fighting in our country and you're the one who's securing that we have all this freedom and these choices and this ability to decide for ourselves, when you come back home, it's so important that you get to feel like you get to make a decision for yourself too. And I absolutely, completely respect all the things that you do, Tom, to help our veterans. And I would like for you to say, I would like you to just kind of tell how you help veterans specifically, with business. I know you do a lot that's not even business related for veterans, but, if someone's watching who is a veteran or knows someone who's a veteran and who really needs, someone like you to help them make those choices, how can you get involved?
Yeah, so I'll wrap up this because I know people don't like to watch an hour of stuff. They're going to do sections, but so we'll wrap up with this. So I would say finding something that you're passionate about in the veteran organization. So you don't have to be a veteran. So if it's Team RWB, there's great events and there's great social and physical activities for that. I'm also an American Legion. I only focus on Honor Guard. We are in absolute need of more people to serve on Honor Guard. Honor Guard is about providing the military service at funerals. Every veteran deserves to have that. There was a period of time where we were struggling to make sure that we had enough for that to happen, and we will have that again. So having, I'll say, younger, like me, people step up and be a part of Honor Guard is crucial. It's more than just donating money to things like Honor Guard, Honor Flight, Honor Wreaths. There's all kinds of organizations throughout Southern Illinois. I would say if you're a business owner, rotate, make some donations, have a fundraiser, make funds for that. Honor Wreaths is coming up in December when we lay wreaths across, it's wreaths across America, but we have them at the National, but we'll have them here at Carterville Cemetery. Those are fun because it can be a family outing, and you come out and we lay wreaths on veterans' graves. We say their names so they're remembered, and we pay honor and tribute. I think it's just find a way to daily, weekly, monthly remember and honor veterans. And if you are a veteran, I guess this will be my tough love. Step up. Just because you serve 4 years or 2 years or 20 or 30 years doesn't mean you're done. I quit, and it wasn't until later I realized I didn't quit. I just didn't realize I had another purpose, and I put on a different uniform to serve. And you got to continue to do that too. So it's not just about monetary and looking for local areas to donate to. The time, volunteer, there's just so many different organizations from a veteran standpoint that are willing to look for that. And you don't have to stay on there for 20 and 30 years. If you're on a board or you want to volunteer for Honor Flight, there's a lot of different things you can do. Reach out to me, reach out to the VA. There's all kinds of different services, but whatever it is, just find something that you're passionate about. And, a good goal would be once a year to do something, do a run, a 5K, do, something with a veteran, buy a coffee, go in and buy a coffee for a veteran. Just plant those seeds like we were talking about, we'll bring it full circle. plant those seeds because you don't know what's going to happen to that. So when you're famous, both of you, you better remember me.
Oh, well, you know, Tom, we definitely will.
We'll
We
see
have a
you.
comment
We'll send you
here.
the invites
Actually,
together.
Melanie Bickett, who disclaimer is our mother, she says, our goal, leave the world a better place than what you found it in. And we absolutely agree with that. Tom, we think you do an excellent job doing that in Southern Illinois, and I'm sure it ripples beyond. Obviously, it's rippled all the way to Canada right now. Casey, is there anything you'd like to add before we let Tom get back to his normal life?
No,
I
said it all.
Aw. You know,
Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I've watched the show a couple of times. There's all kinds of content, obviously, when you're in this world that you read. But because I see you, Brittany. I've watched this a couple of times, and I've known your sister for, I didn't realize that long. Yeah, I'm not gonna say
a long time.
But I was really touched and honored for you guys to have me on your show. So thank you so much. It was really cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you both.
Well, thank you. Oh, and my mom said thank you for your service as well. So my grandfather was a World War II vet, so veterans are very important to us. But Tom, we appreciate you. We do thank you for your service, you know, in the military and in Southern Illinois. So thank you so much for your time with us, and we hope you had fun.
Oh, it was a blast. It was a blast. You guys be safe.
Yeah, you too.
All right, you too,
Have a good
Tom.
night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.